The recent announcement of Avalanche Consensus launching on the eCash mainnet has generated significant interest across the eCash communities. Avalanche Consensus is a significant achievement. Consensus brings 51% attack prevention. It increases security of the network significantly, bringing it on par with leading proof-of-work chains. It also brings one-block finality, which opens the door for exchanges to enable one confirmation deposits. This video is part of a series to guide power users through the end-to-end steps to set up your own Avalanche Consensus nodes and the process to staking your XEC coins. This Part 1 video will specifically focus on setting up your own virtual private server and installing the required Bitcoin ABC node software. eCash nodes have certain technical requirements. If you try to run a node on weak hardware, it may struggle to process the incoming transactions and blocks. If you can meet the following recommended requirements, you'll have a node that is easy to use and maintain. For the operating system, we recommend using Debian as this is one of the most popular Linux distributions. The official release of the Bitcoin ABC node software is also built and tested against this distribution. The processor needs to be at least 2 virtual CPUs. For memory, we suggest at least 4 GB of RAM. For storage, we recommend at least 300 GB of SSD space and accessible at a minimum read-write speed of 100 MB per second. For reference, the eCash blockchain is currently around 163 GB in size, and it will continue to grow into the future. In terms of bandwidth, we recommend at least 2 TB a month, particularly if you intend to run an initial block download a few times. For the following demonstration, we will be using a virtual private server rather than a local machine. You will need to be familiar with basic Linux commands and how to operate a virtual private server. In this Part 1 demo, we'll be mainly using 2 key tools: a VPS provider's web interface, and an SSH tool like PuTTY to connect to the VPS server if you're operating on Windows. We'll start off by setting up your virtual private server. In this demo, we're using Contavo, but there are many other alternate providers to choose from. Once you've created an account, click on Cloud VPS, which will take you to the VPS package selection screen. For example, you can select the $11.99 per month option and press Select. On the VPS configuration screen, you can check the specs of this virtual server that you're about to procure. Choose the term length for this VPS, keeping in mind that the longer the term, the cheaper the one-time setup fee for this server. For region, you can leave it on the default European Union. For storage type, leave it on the default 400 GB SSD option. For image, click on OS, and then select the latest Debian distribution. Then, set a password for the root account on your server. Then leave the default networking and add-on sections unchanged. You'll see in the order summary that this server will cost $11.99 on a monthly basis, plus the one-time setup fee. Once you're ready, click the Next button to pay for this server using your desired payment method. Once paid, depending on the workload of the service provider, it may take a few minutes for the server to be provisioned. Once you receive an email from your provider indicating your VPS is ready to go, log back into the provider's website using the credentials in the email they've sent you. Click on Your Services, which will then show you the details of your VPS. Copy the IP address for your VPS and paste it into the PuTTY SSH tool, and then click Open. Accept the one-off warning message the first time you log in. Log in as the root account and then use the password you've chosen for your root account during the previous VPS configuration step. And now you're inside your newly created server. Let's create a user account, as it's dangerous to use a root user. You can do this by typing Add User followed by your desired username and then set your desired password. You can then fill in the user account details. Now that you've created this new account, it's time to grant administrative permissions to it. Type the command as shown on screen. Then switch to this user and move to the home directory of this new account. Now you're ready to start installing the required software to run an eCash node. Start by using wget to retrieve the pre-built binary as shown. The version number in this path will change depending on which version you want to use. Please see the bitcoinabc.org website for the latest version. Then we uncompress this pre-built binary via the command on screen. When finished, you'll be able to start your eCash node by executing bitcoin-d in your installation directory's binary folder and pass in -daemon as an argument. This starts the initial block download where your node synchronizes to the eCash network. This can take anywhere from 4 hours to a full day. You can check the progress by executing bitcoin-cli in your installation directory's binary folder and pass in the getblockchaininfo argument. In this example, the initial block download is already complete, which you can tell by your blocks attribute matching the headers attribute and the initial block download attribute switching to false. Once you've successfully completed the steps in this Part 1 video, you will now be ready to generate a stake proof and use it to configure your node for Avalanche Consensus. This will be covered in Part 2 of this video guide series. If you have any questions around running an eCash node, please hop on to the eCash development telegram at t.me/eCash development.